continues.
All right, we now want to dive into that Ma Cultural Week conversation. Remember, it will be held next week from 6th to 9th November. And of course, KTN will be covering that particular event for you. So let's welcome our guests. And they are looking lovely, if I may add. We have ladies first. We have Peinan Loronyoke. Did I say it correctly?
Correct.
Okay, great. She's the county attorney, Samburu County government. And of course, next to me, we have Raphael Lenayara. Did I say it correct?
Correct.
Great. And he is the CCM Tourism in Samburu County. Well, it's great to have you with us. So perhaps we'll start with you, sir. Talk to us about the Ma Cultural Week and what Kenyans should look up for.
Very good. Thank you. The Ma Cultural Week. First of all, this is the second edition of the Ma Cultural Week. And the host county being the Samburu County. Mm-hmm. The first edition took place in Narok County, that was in Sikinani. And during that first Ma Cultural Week, we call it the first edition, the president made a pronunciation that this event is going to be a national event. And so Samburu being the host county, we have a lot of things for you, a lot of activities that are lined up. And of course, the Ma Cultural Week is basically, we want to showcase our culture and heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. And coming to you, madam, of course, before we even get to the preservation of culture and you elaborating the culture that is the Ma culture for us, talk to us about what you're adorned in.
Awesome.
Is it a different bead for each gender? Are there, distinctions?
No, not really.
Okay.
This is a bit modernized.
Okay.
But this is a common one for married women. But I've toned it down. Mm-hmm. So I've just done a very simple dress with a cover-up, a Masai shuka, with a good printing of red, and the white dress. And this one, this is the headgear. All of us wear these. Married women wear it separately with unmarried girls.
What about the single ones?
Those are the unmarried.
Yes.
They equally, you will see them when you come for the cultural week itself. Mm-hmm. You will see the difference between a married woman and an unmarried one. But this is basically a modernized kind of a way either of us can wear. A married girl can wear or an unmarried one can.
Can you elaborate yours as well?
Yes. To be honest, I am wearing a Moran here. Mm-hmm. From the top, you can see this is plaited hair. And it's not just done by every other person.
Okay.
We have specialists, Moran specialists, who actually take time to have you have this kind of a hair that looks really very nice. And occasionally, but it comes at times you see them having the red ochre, and at times they don't have the ochre. When it rains and there is lots of grass and there's plenty of water all over the place, so they let it go down and they can now go roam around, dancing and all that. But at times when things are really tough, like during the dry season, then they bring it forth and tie it. So, and actually it will continue just growing. By the time they come back, then they allow it to go down. So ideally, this is only for the Morans. Morans are more or less the people who are there to give security to the community, especially to the invaders who come and try and invade the community. So Morans are basically the people who give security to the community.
Okay.
Of course, as you can see, there are a lot of more layers of more gear. This is specifically for the Morans. Otherwise, if it was an elder, you will find them having only one single chain and a drop of a small tin that they put that above when they are walking around the manya.
So we can safely say that tonight you are our Moran.
Correct.
Okay, that's good to note. So coming back to the conversation. We are both safe, right? Okay. Coming back to the conversation. I mean, when you think about Maasai culture, it's sort of been championed and intertwined with the Kenyan identity. And many cultures in this country want to find out how exactly did the Maasai, or the Ma, if you want to call it, how were they able to preserve their culture for this long?
Let me take that up.
Okay.
We normally combine everything. And I think much of it is more like we are still on the farthest bit of the country. We are not so much modernized or westernized in that way. And even those of us who are well educated, we are still holding the culture back. So you will find at the end of the day, you'll still go back home. You'll find these men and even us women, you'll still have touch with the kettle, you'll still do the beading. But I think it's more on how that one has been brought in. We've been brought in inside the culture. So as much as, yes, you're well educated and you're having all your other things in terms of education and westernization, but back home, the grandparents always pass that one to the kids. So the language is very, very strong. The culture is still very strong. We may have some retrogressive culture that with time and with education, we are always doing away with those ones. But the rich culture does not really hurt us in terms of maybe the cultural practices. We still have those. We still practice the songs. We still practice the attire. We are very much still in touch with our culture. Yeah.
And you know, she's mentioned a very important point, the issue of the fact that you're not westernized, but you know, you're just somewhere in the middle. When you look at it and you think about it, these are some of the challenges that the culture is facing. What other challenges are you facing?
Yeah, there are quite a number of challenges, and that is why you see, I think she has just put it correctly.
Yeah.
You realize many communities have lost their cultures. But we've been able to preserve our culture, one, because, as she has just put it, we have some sorts of structures. And every other time, you know, the elders really, as I say, you know, we have made structures in the community, and this is like a practice that one exits at a certain space, and the elders will keep on educating the people on what you are required to, you know, to do. But there are pressures from the Western world, you know. Today you will find some people, maybe the kid has been born in Nairobi, they are brought up in Nairobi, so they tend to lose their real culture. And those are some of the challenges that people face. So you find this young generation, the Gen Zs of today, you know, they can even hardly, forget about even the culture itself, but even the language, just speaking, the Ma language itself is a problem. So those are some of the challenges that the culture is facing out there.
And what are you doing about it? Because as generations go on, then the culture is slowly coming to an end. Because one day you'll be an elder, and perhaps by then you don't have the same capacity of, you know, cultural knowledge as opposed to the elders.
We are documenting that as a county government, and I think that is well spelled out in the Constitution. One of the mandates for the county government is culture. So we have a whole department that is in charge of that. We are even in the process of actually having on board what we called the Njurinjake of Samburus, the Council of Elders. Though now these people are the ones who are endowed with this information, and they will be in charge of preserving the culture and passing it down. We are also documenting it in terms of songs. So you will find most of our current artists, they're singing back the old songs, but in a modern way. So somehow we are still having the same thing today. We're also doing books. A few of us are writing books on the same, especially on the sages, the sayings, all those ones, the proverbs. We have those ones. And I think this is another forum, because as Raphael had already said, this is the second edition. And we'll be having this for the rest of as much as we can. We just started, and every other year we'll be doing this, and we'll also be documenting this. In a way, it will be preserved, and anybody can get to see this even 10, 50, 30 years to come.
Yeah, but you know, there's that saying that if you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book. Then what happens then?
I agree. But I think in one way, we are not really so scared that this will get lost completely. We plan not to do away with the culture completely. We will want to retain this Ma culture as much as we can. And once this is passed down to the younger generation right now, I will pass this to my kids, and I will hope they will pass it to their kids. Maybe, yes, with westernization, with school and everything, I'm not the same Samburu girl as the Samburu girl in the village, but I'm still proudly a Samburu in terms of associating and identifying myself to that culture.
So looking at the theme that is promoting Ma culture, expressional for socioeconomic development, how do you promote Ma cultural expressions for socioeconomic development, Raphael?
Yeah, it is true, because apart from just coming to, I want to talk on the, more of economic bit of it.
Sure.
And as we say, we will, apart from just the mass speakers, we will have so many other people from different walks of life, who will be coming to celebrate with us during the event. We will have other Kenyans who will be coming to celebrate our culture. We will even have people as far as Europe who will come to celebrate our culture, and America as well. So from the economic bit of it, there will be a lot that will be happening during that event. And as you see what we are wearing, I know so many people, like just the way you said when we came in, you admire what we have, all right? So there will be so many people who will get opportunities at least to be able to trade or sell these wires to other communities who will really want to showcase this when they go back after the event. So that is one way of economic or social economic that people will be benefiting. Of course, around the area as well, people will be eating. There will be a lot of food, drinks, and all that, especially our traditional foods. Yeah. So again, there will definitely be exchange of money and livestock. People will be trading livestock. They will sell livestock in exchange of money, and of course, they will put money into other uses. So there will be a lot of economic value to the event because we will have so many other people coming from outside Samburu or other Ma counties to come and celebrate with us, and of course, that will mean there will be some economic value to the communities around that area.
Okay, Pinan, even as you add into that, I believe that each gender has a role to play when it comes to the preservation of your culture.
Correct.
What are the distinctions in the roles?
This is the distinction. We, not even in terms of gender, but in terms of age set. Their roles are moran, they are mandated to do, and their songs they sing. And their roles are mandated for the elders and married women and unmarried girls. So when you attend this event, you will definitely see, in terms of now preserving this, how the current age set, how they dress, how they sing, slightly changing, because again we are really somehow going to school more, so less of the culture bit. But more or less the same, we play different roles. And with the elders, you will see then the elders will have a role in terms of blessing, in terms of guiding the community, in terms of probably providing the overall leadership, in terms of now what to be done, when to be done. When you want to get married, you just don't get married. The elders have to choose. We need to align with the moon. There are days we cannot actually get married. Then there are things women will prepare in terms of the skin. When you get married, there's a specific skin you're going to wear. There's a specific type of beads you're going to wear. So all those are different roles. Then as a girl, I also participate in terms of, you go sing, you sometimes you sing for the cows when you're milking, sometimes you just sing when you're herding. So it's all different. And another thing, you will see we'll have a kids' corner. Yeah, so our kids also have something to showcase. They are singing, the children are singings. They also have their own poetry, and they also have a role. So there are things also children will be doing, and that one will be shown at the ground when we'll be doing that. So once you and I hope all of you and the entire country will come and see this, you will learn a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah. You will get to see this is a Moran, and you will know how they dress and how they sing. You will know this is a married woman, this is the kind of songs they sing in terms of sacred songs, maybe wedding songs. So all those ones will be well articulated and well spelled out when we will be holding this.
Okay, so even as fight to preserve our culture, how do we eradicate retrogressive practices and still, preserve our culture?
True. Yes, as Penan said, we definitely do have some retrogressive practices in our cultures. One of them is, for example, FGM, all right? And of course, it is true indeed that that is a bit of it, that is retrogressive, but today we have really moved away from that. And we are saying, because when we say people must move from one age set to another.
Yeah.
And let me talk about boys, for example. For you to move from a boyhood to moranhood, you must go through a rite of passage, and that is circumcision. And for a young girl to move from a girlhood to womanhood, of course through marriage, that time you must go through FGM. But today, what we do, and that time, let me also say something about boys, because boys, when they're going through this circumcision at a certain season, you will get all of them put in one place called Aurora. Then they are circumcised at the same place, they graduate at the same time, and they became a certain age set or age group of, they call them Morans.
Yes.
And from there, they will graduate from Morans to elder status. So for ladies, there is no at any one point that we used to put girls in that place called Aurora, then they get circumcised and they graduate to womanhood. No. They used to do that when a girl is being married off to, as Penan said, you don't just marry. The man has to choose the right man, or rather the right clan for that girl. Like if I cannot just come and marry. I have to first of all find out if Penan is the right person for me to marry.
Yes.
So that time they used to do those kind of things. But today, ladies are put in a certain place, like a school, like a retreat kind of a thing. They are taught all what is required as for motherhood, all right? After that period, then they will graduate without really going through the FGM.
Okay.
So we are slowly getting away or getting rid of those retrogressive practices.
Okay.
In our
but
society.
Maybe Ashley to chip in on
Yes,
that. I
sure.
think it's education.
Okay.
That is the way out, and we are doing so well. And you see, I agree. The FGM, I don't call them early. I prefer calling them child marriages. We are almost done with those. And the more you take people to school, the more you become enlightened. We will not say those are bad practices or anything, but at that particular point, and even now understanding how it's being done, we completely agree with that. But the more you go to school, and also the Christianity or even religion, whether even the churches. So those two, but more specifically, education.
Okay.
Once we embrace the education, and once I get an opportunity as a girl child to go to school, chances of me beating those child marriages and me running away and being safe from FGM, it's cool. Because by the time I'm done with school, I'll be an adult. So at that particular point, I may have a voice. And I may speak to my mom and I say, this is exactly how it is, and I may not want to go through this. And chances of my mom being educated and understanding that, very high. So I will think education is one of our ways to fight these retrogressive cultural practices.
Okay, that's a really good point. Now, I know there's some performance that you have prepared for us. Before we even get to that, just one final question, Raphael. Like when you talk about cultures, they're different. For example, let me give an example of where I come from, because I am Mijikenda. So there are Giriamas, and the likes, divided into 9 sub-tribes. When it comes to the Maasai, what's the distinction between Maasai from Kajiado, from Samburu? Like, how do we know who is who?
Correct. Yeah, thank you. Let me say something. One, we all originated from one place, all right? And this was from somewhere from the north, Egypt and all the way. So when we came down, and that is how some Bulls were left in the northern part of the country, and the Maasai moved, of course, to the southern part. So the Musungu came, all right? And they pushed us out of this area now, like Laikipia, for example. Some Bulls remained in the northern part, and Maasai went all the way down. Now, the only way you can be able to distinguish a Maasai man and a Samburu man is one, the way they dress.
Okay.
If you look at Samburu in this town, you can easily tell by the way he's dressed, this is a Samburu. When you go to the southern part where the Maasai live and you see a Maasai, you can easily tell by the way they dress, and even the kind of beadwork that they put on.
Okay.
They have more of a different kind of beadwork. Samburus have very colorful beadwork, and that's why they are referred as butterfly people. But the dialect, the language that we speak is the same. But again, you will find the Maasai of the southern part of the country, more of Loitoktok, down there, Kajiado. It's a bit different, but we still understand each other. But Maasai from Kilgoris, for example, and the Samburus, the dialect is very the same. And when they speak and I speak, there is nothing you can even equate because it's more or less the same. But as you've said, you realize Samburus are in not just the 3 counties that people know. People know the Ma people are in Kajiado, Narok, and Samburu. But we are in more than those 3 counties. The Ma people are in Laikipia, we are in Isiolo, we are also in Marsabit and Baringo.
Okay.
We have people who are called Jamus, It's a minority community in this country, but they live in Baringo and they speak the same dialect as us.
Okay.
So you can easily be able to differentiate the people by the way they dress and the beadwork, the beads that they wear.
I'm really looking forward to the Ma Cultural Week, 6th to 9th of November. Be sure that KTN Prime will be live on location, together with a number of other bulletins. So let's now bring in some of those, entertainment that we were. These are Morans. They're all Morans, yeah? So they're all here for our protection and entertainment at the end of the day. All right, but even as we wait for them to just come in, your closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you. So I will want to welcome all Kenyans and all, even tourists, to Samburu. We are going to have a very, very colorful event, and this is from 6th to 9th, and this is how the week is going to look like.
Yeah.
On 6th, it will be arrival basically to the event venue. On 7th, we will have the Women Day. Let me say, the first ladies will be gracing the event, and so that time, or that day, the 7th day of November, we'll be celebrating our women.
Okay.
On 8th, it will be more of Leadership Day. So our governors will be taking lead, and so we are going to celebrate the mermen and cows and our lifestyle and all that. Then of course the last day, which will be the 9th, the day will be graced by His Excellency the President, and so we welcome all to come and enjoy our culture and heritage.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Mine is to thank you and the KTN for according us this opportunity.
Anytime.
And I will take this opportunity to welcome all Kenyans to come and experience this beautiful and rich culture. From 7th to 9th, there will be a lot to showcase, from the dress code to the food to the sports. It will be an amazing. Samburus are known for the hospitality, so definitely you have food to eat, you will dance, and you'll come back home.
Music to my ears. I cannot wait for that.
Please
So anyway, let's just usher in the entertainment briefly before we take a break.
Oh yeah, we are the night.